Traditional journalism wasn't necessarily giving all the answers, or like main newspapers and TV stations, they have their own agendas, and that's fine. But I wanted to prove what Quakebook proved was possible. I wanted to do 1 year later, but not for charity, for independent journalism. One of the pieces is by Michael Kuchek, who writes a very good blog on Japanese politics, and what he's written is something that I haven't read anywhere else. He talks about Naoto Kan, and that actually he's quite a hero. Now that's quite a controversial statement, and I think if you read the newspapers and everything and watch TV, he comes across as a bumbling idiot. Nothing could be further from the truth. One of the pieces is by Jake Adelstein, who's written about how the Yakuza responded after the earthquake. In many cases they were the first responders, the first people on the scene. That statement made quite a big splash in the world, because it's quite outrageous, people think. Well, Jake builds on that and talks more about the motivations behind that, and was this really true? We've got Dr. Kiyoshi Kurokawa, who's written a great piece called The Third Opening of Japan. And he sees the earthquake as, of course, a terrible disaster, but it's actually a great opportunity. That sounds crass to say, but it's on the same level as the end of the Second World War or the coming of the Black Ships. This is a moment where Japan can change and must change. I wanted to give a chance for the writers to say what they really thought, with sort of a minimal editorial input. What I mean is, I have no agenda here. All it is I'm here in little old Abiko, and this big earthquake happened, and I'm trying to understand what it's done to the world, what it's done to Japan. Has it in fact had the big impact that many people say? I'm not sure. I'm no expert. I'm just an English teacher here, but these are people that I've come into contact through Quakebook, fortunately, who do have an insight, who do know something that the likes of you and me don't have. So I wanted to ask them to do it, and in this day and age, you don't need a publisher to publish a book. You don't need a newspaper to read the news. And I want, that's interesting. I wanted to be part of that, and a kind of an experiment. Can we produce something of high quality journalism ourselves without the need for a big company? I believe we can, and I think this project will prove that that is true. Also, it's very exciting to me. How do you fund real professional journalism? And I look at e-books and I think that might be a way. People talk in journalism circles. They talk about foundations, and foundations have an agenda, which is fine. Businesses have an agenda; they've got to make money. But what about the pure news? How do we pay for that? There's still a need, and I believe that if there's a need for it, which there is, people will pay a small amount for it. Now that's maybe an outrageous statement, but I'm thinking, $2.99 for an e-book of 30,000 words. That's like, in old terms, 100 pages. 100 pages that explain what exactly really did happen in 3/11 is worth paying for.